Hey everybody, Kairofu here. It's been a while, guys, but I want to let you know that I'm back and ready to go. I'm hoping to actually hit off and start doing some tier videos, but in order to keep it from being an incredibly long and obnoxious video, I want to narrow it down by faction and give you each faction tier hero in a different video and kind of show you who is best to use for each faction in those tiers. So you can start building your team from the very beginning, from very early game. So let's start off. First of all, probably one of my favorite all-time characters, the cat. I hear a lot of arguments in regards to the cat, and I can debate this with people all day. But first of all, the mage is probably the best class to use when you're in campaign and a variety of other instances. So basically any of your full team against team instances, PvP, PvE, this is where you want to excel, is with your cat mage. Probably easily a tier 1 hero. Easily top tier mage. It's just a variety, a combination of damage plus the freezes, and her talent ability makes her easily a top tier hero. But honorable mentions easily are Knight. The ability to share all damage is still a top tier ability, although a lot of the other things fall to the wayside sometimes depending on the battle, and it's sometimes a hit or miss. So I drop the Night Cat to probably a tier 2. A solid tier 2 hero there due to those abilities. I will also give honorable mention to my Ranger friend. I will give that a tier 2 as well. It's great mid-game, great early game, late game it kind of falls away. The damage doesn't quite equal the abilities that it has, while the freeze is still good if it lands, which is another thing that you're kind of betting on there. But those 9 arrows can do massive damage against boss battles. Easily, probably one of the best tier 1 boss battle hero, tier 2 for PvP and PvE. But definitely an honorable mention. If you want to hit bosses really hard, definitely shoot for the Ranger. Another constant honorable mention is the Warrior. This is a good class due to the freeze return, so if it's attacked, it's likely to freeze. It also provides a few good buffs here. Debuffs, it reduces target's armor, increases its own armor, and it has more armor increases. So, I mean, as a natural warrior, it's really good ability to have your own armor increase, so I definitely put this at a tier 2. I just don't think as a warrior, without a kind of revive or sustainability, it's really difficult to call it a viable tank option, which is why it's probably great mid-game, early game, but later game you're going to have some issues dealing with it. So I'd put her solid tier 2, tier 3 hero, depending on where you're at. And lastly, we got the Assassin. Probably, I will just throw this in at probably tier 3, not tier 4. I have not really found a good use for this. I don't see anything that just really sticks out to me. It seems to be made to do more damage against frozen heroes, but then again, that's very situational. And I've never seemed to be at the point where this actually assists me with anything. So I'm definitely going to throw this towards the bottom in like a tier 3. So let's move on to the sheep. As you can see, I already have mage selected. I love the sheep mage. It is incredible. The buffs are amazing. In and of itself, it makes it worth it. Plus the automatic burn by the natural talent is fantastic to do that damage as well. So not only do the buffs real nice, but if you look at this amazing thing, 100% chance to stun knight target for 2 rounds and mage targets for 2 rounds. And so it's doing that attack on everyone and stunning both the knight and mage targets, which are often your biggest issues. A lot of your knights and mages are your top tier heroes. So having the ability to kind of put them out of commission for a brief while, 2 turns, is pretty incredible. Easily tier 1 hero, probably one of my favorites. Hands down. If you have a chance to shoot for this, go for it. Use them PvE, PvP. Great optional hero. Assassin. First off, incredible boss battle hero. Anytime you're up against any of your world bosses, your guild bosses, great hero to have in there. That bleed just does massive stacks of damage. Plus the natural burns she does. It's just damage on an individual target. It's incredible. PvE and PvP, he falls a lot. I've seen him ranked really low on other people's lists because of this, but definitely not one to just throw out to the wayside just due to his ability to do massive one-person damage. But just not as great PvE, PvP. I give him tier 2 overall. Easily tier 1 boss battle hero, probably around tier 3. If we're tier 4, even if we're talking PvP and PvE. We got the warrior, another one of my favorites. I don't often get to use it because I have my usual front line that I keep set, and I love the mage so much. But this is easily a tier 1 hero. Great tank ability, great damage ability, since he, of course, will attack back every time he's attacked. So great to put on the front line. He tanks well, and you have that attack back. It's great damage going forward as well. So definitely worth building. Solid tier 1. Definitely go for him. The ranger, I'll just make this quick and easy. He's alright. Good beginning, middle game. I would not carry through him late game. But the great thing is, with this game, is you have a variety of options. And if you do sheep, there's a lot of good opportunities. But the ranger probably is an easy tier 3, tier 4. I'm just not really impressed by the ranger's abilities. However, our knight is, in my opinion, early and mid-game, a very good hero to have. The heals are fantastic. The buffs are fantastic. I'd love to go for the sheep. I say shoot for it then. Late game, it kind of falls away. The heals are still good, but they don't really keep up with a lot of damage. So it kind of falls to the wayside. I'll give him a solid tier 2, maybe tier 3 ranking for the knight. But definitely is nice to have in your beginning and middle rank for a solid, sustainable team comp. So let's see. My walrus, I use the walrus a ton beginning and mid game. I think as one of the first heroes I think you're just given at the very beginning of the game. You're given the ranger, and he is great early game. Does great massive damage to all enemies. Great to go. Mid and late game, he falls apart. I'd easily put him tier 3. I do the same with the knight. I put it tier 3. I've never seen him very useful. The knight is just kind of there. And I guess if you need it early game, go for it. But try and find a better knight and the variety of other teams. Assassin, again, like knight, nothing really sticks out to me. He's an alright hero early game, mid and late game. You're not going to find him viable. Your mage is going to be your most viable option. Easy tier 2, if not tier 1. Late game, I said I think walrus in general kind of falls away late game, but I'd still be around a tier 1, if not top tier 2 hero, just for his ability to freeze and for let's see, just the ability to hit all targets, reduce the target's armor, and I think he also builds up his own armor as a natural ability. Increases the armor of all your heroes, so that's also nice just to have as a base status buff. So it's not too bad. Other than that, like I said, there's nothing that incredibly sticks out. We can freeze target with the lowest armor and target with the highest armor for 2 rounds, so that's 2 freezes there. But other than that, I just don't see anything incredible, which is why I don't think he quite maybe makes tier 1 and sits more around tier 2, but still a very solid option if you're gonna stack Walrus. Try to get the mage, but like I said, late game it's not worth throwing too much into the Walrus. He will fall away. And Warrior is another one that's alright. I'll give this a tier 3. He just doesn't stick out too much to me. A late game, definitely not an option. Mid, early game, pretty viable option. Easily a tier 2 mid, early game. But in general, nothing that really sticks out to me. Just increasing block, parry damage, a little bit of poison, and reduction to attack. Nothing too crazy. So I definitely put him at probably overall bottom tier 2 ranking. Deer is another one, actually probably incredibly similar to the Walrus. I'll make this pretty easy. Unite, you're probably looking tier 3. Early mid-game, probably slightly viable, but honestly I would not try to worry about getting the Knight too much. Same with the Ranger. The ability to stack off poison's pretty good. She increases poison damage, but other than that, it's kind of bleh. I would probably put this tier 3. Overall, even early mid-game, probably not that great. Your Assassin, another tier 3. Just not too impressed with the Assassin. Probably tier 3, if not tier 4. Very low rank. Not interested. Mage is where you're probably looking more tier 2, maybe tier 1. There's a lot of good abilities there that stack. I think the poison damage is really nice. Putting frail and debuffs all the targets, or dispels all the buffs on the targets. So that's always a great opportunity hero. Reduces target's attack by 20%. I've seen people put this at tier 1. I am hesitant to do so, just because, first of all, I've never really seen her used in PvP at least. PvE, there's definitely a lot of viable options just for that dispel. If you find teams are buffing really strongly. And just the ability to debuff those attacks, provide a silence. It's a lot of strong abilities there, but nothing I think sticks out enough to throw it into a tier 1. And probably the Warrior will once again land more around tier 3, tier 4. Nothing too impressive, too strong. Like I said, with Deer or Walrus, you're welcome to build them if you want to go for those mage team comps early mid-game. But honestly, late game, you're going to be limited with your viability to switch around your team comp because you're only going to be stuck with really those mages, which have your best possible opportunities for team comp building. So for Meek, that's where I'm going to stop. I'm not going to focus too much on the other options for the Raccoon Ranger. Some of those are good early mid-game due to some of their abilities and after-death abilities. But honestly, late game where I am now, which is what you're going to want to try and start building for after probably the middle of early game, you'll want to start shooting for your mid-game and late-game team comps as quickly as possible. And start building those up and figuring out what you want. So just as a quick sum up, probably the best 2 heroes, as we can see, as from what I built, from obviously my opinion, are the cat and the sheep. Shoot for that mage for PvE, PvP. Ranger, I give strong thumbs up for mid-early game, and for boss battles even through late game. There's just so much attack strength there that's worth building. I also give props to the knight and to the warrior for their abilities to tank and sustain. And for sheep, of course, mage are top tier, and then another viable ability for the assassin, which is strong damage and PV and and strong damage in boss battles, but weak to damage in PvE and PvP. And of course a strong tier 1 warrior class and a decent knight class, which kind of falls away late game. Well guys, that basically does it for my Meek overview. I started with Meek because they are right now probably my favorite class. I think probably the second strongest faction within the game right now. The first, which I'll probably be doing next, would be the Agile, which is my second favorite faction, and I'll go over those. I think the new Bunny Hero put them easily ahead of the Meek faction in strength, not counting Mighty and the new Mythical faction. So I'll hopefully go over there sometime within the next week or two, and you'll be seeing more videos on those coming up. Thank you guys for following, and thank you so much for your interest. I've gotten a lot more followers and interest than I thought just creating these videos for you guys, and I really appreciate it. I'm hoping to continue to make more content and not leave as much of a gap as I have before, so you guys have more content to see and more guides to help you along with the game. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you later. Goodbye.